Good day everyone, we are from Pr58. Our members have IZUL, EIZAD, NISHA and ZIQRI. Before we dive into our case study, it is important to realize that the water stress is a global crisis affecting 25% of the world population. However, there is a paradox. In a rich country, the problem isn't the amount of water but the management of it. We define water stress in two ways. It is either scarcity or, more importantly for our topic, is when poor management and pollution restrict water use even when it is physically abundant. To illustrate this, let's look at the flood news on May 29, 2025, the town of Mocha, Nigeria, where there is at least 200 lives lost and over 3,000 houses submerged and 10,000 hectares of farmland destroyed, leading to an economic loss in the billion of naira. This case shows that without a proper governance, rainfall abundance can actually lead to a greater water stress and human tragedy. So why does this tragedy keep happening? It's seen for three stakeholder conflicts. First is governance conflict. Reform from the start highlight that the aging drain in the PPR Kampong Muhiba caused the recurring flood. This is a social justice issue while wealthier areas are protected. The World Bank warned this flood case could cost Malaysia 4.1% of its GDP. It is the low-income families who pay the highest price. Second is the economy versus health conflict. In Kochi, India, heavy rain washed the industrial toxic into the Perkembangan river. This creates a moral dilemma based on the utilitarianism. Should the utility of economic profit ever come at the expense of public health? Finally, the conflict between the immediate safety and future security. Most cities focus on the draining water as fast as possible to stop the flood, but as seen in the China Sponge City study, the waste of billions of liters of water needed for the dry season. We are prioritizing the short-term risk management over the long-term survival. To explore the Etika theory behind this choice, I will pass to the floor of my teammate IZUL.
So for the factors contribute to conflict, first is inequitable flood impacts and governance failure, shown by the case of Nanjing. Flood risks are unevenly distributed, where low-lying and riverside communities face higher exposure. Vulnerable groups such as low-income, resident and the elderly are the most affected. Urban-biased flood governance further increases inequality. Second is economic development in conflict with environmental sustainability and public health in Bangladesh. Although rainfall is high, water stress still occurs due to salinity caused by economic activities like shrimp farming. This contaminates freshwater source and leads to serious public health impact. Third is conflict between short-term flood control and long-term water security. In Germany, reservoirs are mainly operated for flood control, with water released quickly instead of being stored. Climate change increases hydrological variability, causing both flood and drought. This approach limits long-term water security even in regions with high annual rainfall.
My name is NISHA and I will talk about how this issue relates to ethics, safety, health, community and environment. From an ethical standpoint, utilitarianism is involved when weighing whether a possible solution would do more good compared to the method that is currently being used. Human rights ethics, on the other hand, is important to emphasize how access to clean water is a fundamental right and is not in line with the reality of the fact that water stress often infects low-income and minority communities more severely due to unequal prioritization. In terms of safety, flooding that is frequently the cause of water stress increases risks such as drowning, physical injuries, and exposure to contaminated water. In extreme cases, water scarcity can even lead to conflict and disrupt emergency services, worsening preventable tragedies. Regarding health, water stress contributes to the spread of waterborne diseases, poor hygiene, malnutrition caused by reduced agricultural output. At the community level, unequal water management often undermines public trust in authorities. Communities that feel neglected may experience frustration and unrest. While competition over limited water resources can lead to social conflict and reduced cooperation, these tensions can also disrupt education and weaken overall community cohesion. From an environmental perspective, water stress damages ecosystem and destroys habitats. The overuse of freshwater sources and discharge of polluted water into lakes and oceans cause serious ecological harm. This can result in long-term biodiversity loss. Overall, water stress creates a cycle where environmental damage and water stress itself reinforce each other.
My name is ZIQRI and I'm going to talk about the ethical and practical solution to water stress. Even in countries with plenty of rain, water stress happens due to poor management and pollution. Governments have an ethical duty to protect people's health even if solutions are costly. The moral dilemma is balancing public funds with investing in water infrastructure and pollution control. Vulnerable groups like children, the elderly and low-income communities are most at risk. Environmental justice is also important. Industries may profit while communities suffer. Ethical water management means making fair decisions that protect health and ensure access to clean water. To reduce water stress and protect public health, even in countries with enough rain, we need better water management, pollution control, and sustainable water use. Government, industries, NGOs, and communities must work together. Let's look for some examples. Selangor, Malaysia. Rivers were polluted by industries despite enough rain. The government made strict laws, fined polluters, and closed some factories. The moral dilemma was, should industries be allowed to pollute when public health is at risk? The impact: cleaner rivers, fewer water interruption, healthier people. Chennai, India. Poor water storage caused shortage despite heavy rain. The government made rainwater harvesting compulsory. The moral dilemma was, should citizens be required to invest for future water security? The result: better groundwater, fewer shortage, less reliance on water tankers. Paranak City, Philippines. Groundwater overuse and urban contamination cause water stress. The government introduced water recycling and filtration system. The moral dilemma was, should costly water system be funded when other community needs also need money? The result: more water supply, less pressure on groundwater.
What we learn from water stress issue is high rainfall does not guarantee water security. Weak governance and limited pipe water access force residents, especially vulnerable groups, to rely on groundwater, causing declining water levels. This highlights the need for strong institution and balanced water management. Secondly, environmental communication can encourage water conservation, but in Bandung, its impact is limited without supportive policies. This shows that technical solutions must be supported by public engagement and governance to be effective. Finally, the Upper Blue Nile demonstrates that even rainfall-rich regions face water stress due to climate variability, such as unpredictable floods, drought, and rising temperatures. Therefore, adaptive and flexible water management is essential.
Water stress can happen even in rain-abundant countries when water is mismanaged, polluted, or overused. The main lesson is that access to clean water depends on responsible management and collective action. Ethical conflicts arise because government and communities must make tough choices, such as spending public funds on water system versus other priorities, or requiring citizens and industries to act for the greater good. Vulnerable groups are often the most affected when these conflicts are not addressed. Practical solutions like pollution control, rainwater harvesting, water recycling, and sustainable water use help reduce water stress while protecting public health. Overall, solving water stress requires balancing ethical responsibility with practical action, ensuring fairness, sustainability, and long-term water security for all. That's all from us. Thank you.